Namaste and welcome to Tech Storytelling with Madan, where we bring the story. I'm your host Madan, and today we will be exploring how agentic AI will actually move from automation to autonomy. I'm pleased to announce today one of my awesome guests, Marcin, is the founder and CEO of Biami.io.
Madam, thank you very much for the invite. And yes, I'm very pleased to be part of your podcast.
All right, welcome to the podcast, Marcin. So basically, I would like to our audience would like to know you have been leading the intelligent automations very long, even before the agentic AI become the buzzword. Would you like to share the insights? Basically, this agentic AI is completely different than the traditional AI like RPA. What's the key differentiator?
Yes, I'm happy to share. And this is very valid question. And it's not the first not the first buzzword that we were doing like prior the words appearing in the market. Because if you remember, there was hyper automation that like we were doing, many years before. Actually, it was called hyper automation, right, and so on. So look, it's I think the most important is, change has happened and it's still happening on the market. Okay, it's still happening. It's not that it has concluded and we have, all the technology that is amazing, today, completed and it's going to stay as this. I think the big change has happened is that with the new generative AI tools, okay, we are able to process larger amounts of data, and we can ask AI make or suggest the decisions, okay, based on the inputs that we provide. And in the past, you were able to do it with what we call advanced analytics. So think of it, if you have a large amount of data and you would like to, let's say, see trends, do some statistic calculations, okay, to estimate like what potential future might look like, you were able to do it. But it was very statistics, mathematics driven exercise, where now, the current state of AI allows us to predict that next step in future, and maybe generate a content, okay, based on the inputs we provide in a much easier way. Still, I would say, we're still at the early stage of that process. Look, we have built over 100 processes where we have AI part of it, and we've learned a lot, like how to build actually a robust automation versus getting various different answers like each time you run the process. So I would say we're still at the early stage, but the technology is already stable enough for you to actually be able to use it. And I would encourage everybody, if you don't have like AI strategy within your business yet, then that's definitely something you should be doing now.
All right, perfect. This is interesting insights, Marcin. Marcin, taking this journey ahead, I mean, you often talk about 10x performance improvement in value in operation. So could you please share few real world business use case where agentic AI has really delivered such exponential outcome?
Of course, happy to do it, and maybe in two areas like you mentioned. We do it in three different areas actually. We do it in operations, which are internal processes, in value proposition, which is your external offering to your clients, and the growth, which is like internal sales and marketing activities, right? So we do it for all three of them. But to give you an examples, let's say in those two really where agentic AI plays a vital roles is, look. Let's take internal operations. Okay, let's take, for example, marketing department. Okay, we do quite a lot projects with marketing department. One of the perfect use case for using generative AI and agentic systems is content generation. And now it's not only a text content generation, but it's also images, it's videos, and it's becoming more and more, and better and better. And you can even create a complete movies now, right? That actually helps you to kind of create your whole marketing campaigns, okay, within your office. Okay, so look, great examples. We were always numbers driven, and when we say 10x, we actually do mean 10x. The only difference is that sometimes it requires a cultural change and the way people work. So some companies will get 10x within 1-2 years. Some companies will get 10x performance in 3 years time. But to give you specific examples, again, internal operations, let's say within the marketing, okay, how long does it take to create a full marketing campaign and strategy on what you're going to do, let's say in 2026? Okay, normally within traditional businesses, it takes this is a process that takes 2-3 months. Okay, includes actually external consultants, and this is just the very beginning, because what they do is they just prepare the plan, and then when you actually execute, okay, it's very costly because you need to run campaigns, you need to create campaigns, you need to create content, etc. You need to hire a lot of people that will have knowledge, that will be graphic designers, maybe film or video editors and all of that. Like it's really really costly. Okay, now with Gen AI and Agentic AI, you can really create systems where you could come up with your own templates for a specific marketing campaigns. Okay, it will generate probably between 80 to 90% of of the outcome that you need within 2 days, let's say. Okay, it's still not going to be like a production ready and as good as you can just say, okay, publish, press the publish button, it goes on. Still today, as the part of the process, we have we have people involved, so they review it, they accept, sometimes they suggest the changes, redo parts of the content, etc. Okay, but that is happening much faster. So think of it as like in the past, let's say having a newsletters, having like a industry knowledge content or a blog post, it was like a premium content that not everybody was able to afford. I think these days, like pretty much everybody can afford that. More with contributing with their own knowledge, right, and just generate appropriate content rather than paying big bucks for external consulting. That's for internal, and we do a lot actually, like marketing department projects. So that's a good example. For value proposition, it's even easier because look, if you are a company that doesn't have AI as part of your value proposition, that means you are in trouble already, or within the next 6 to 12 months you will be in trouble, because everybody will expect that you will have AI as a part of your proposition. So including AI into what you're offering today, I believe is a must. And actually it's not just a must because it's expectations from clients and everybody's talking about it, marketing buzzword, etc., but actually that can help you with acquiring and managing many more clients, okay, with the same infrastructure that you have today.
All right, this is great. So you touched upon a bit of people as well as the knowledge. I would like to little bit ask about their roles and how the skill set would be evolving. So most of the audiences where we deal with are mostly functional business analysts who has a deep functional and the domain knowledge, but they don't code. So my question and where we want your insights is, how do you see their roles evolving into this new agentic era, and what kind of skill set or maybe the mindset they need to develop in order to stay relevant and competitive?
Correct. Actually, it's a big change happening on the market, and it's not just within technology. Okay, it happens also within the sales, within operations, etc. In the past, we had org chart with with people uh, individuals being responsible for very small like amount of the process. Let's say somebody was doing just, I don't know, you do a bank statement reconciliation, right? So there was like people in finance that were just going through, through the bank statements. They were just like approving, or rejecting or changing, the reconciliations, and kind of, yeah, approving the process. This is gonna significantly change. It will also change also on the technology side, because in the past you have business analysts, you have project managers, you have developers, you have junior developers, senior developers, etc. I think what you're going to see is, with all AI, and AI is progressing in technology the fastest at the moment. So the biggest speed it has, actually the improvement is happening in technology. So what you're going to see is people will have to become more what we call full cycle, type of resources. So you wouldn't be able just to be, business analyst, and they say, oh, now I need to give it to developers. Developers will develop something, then the code comes, and it's slightly different to what client wanted, etc., etc. Right? So like what you still have today. But no, we already are delivering the projects where we use Gen AI for vibe coding, right? Where you actually don't, we still have, senior developers to like review, approve, and kind of do little checks, but they don't have to be part of the uh, of every iteration or software development process. The way you develop technology now is you actually talk to the business, talk to the
Yeah.
business owner as a business analyst. You still gather the requirements, but you gather those requirements and then translate them in a specific way that Gen AI can consume, and Gen AI can actually create that technology for you. Okay, and you as a business analyst, you should actually understand it. So that's like super important skills that everybody needs to have, because you need to understand it. You need to be able to apply it. If it's like creating a database, you can actually like create that database. You can put those SQL queries, right? You can actually, if it's a Python code, Java code, whatever, you can actually take that code. You should be able to compile it. You should be able to, sit next to the business client and show them, look, this is what we got. Maybe it's not final version. Maybe it will get up to 80% of what we want, but then through further iteration it actually gets better and better. But as a business analyst, you should be more, not just business analyst. You should get the skills of understanding technology, applying it, doing a bit of project manager, etc. Because I don't believe people will expect to have such a big teams anymore. To give you an example, we did build actually a trading platform, financial trading platform for one of our clients recently. And we were estimating that the first MVP, minimum viable product, okay, we're going to build probably within 5 to 6 weeks with 5 to 6 people. Okay, and then we swapped, and we said, you know what, let's try vibe coding. Okay, and 2 people delivered MVP within a month and a half.
Wow, this is wonderful.
And it was working. It had all the requirements that client wanted. There were, of course, even changes within the requirements, because it always happens. Clients sometimes think that things should work specific way, but when you actually implement them, they say, oh, no, I would like this and that. Actually, so we even had one of that iteration of the change, big change within that MVP. And look, it happened within a month and a half, with 2 people instead of many more. So again, that was like cost saving, like almost 10x immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they need to play a bigger role. They have to own a lot of things in order to drive the initiative into the business.
100%. They need to be.
Correct.
They need to be not even a consultants to the clients.
Okay.
They need to be like a trusted advisors that can not only like advise, but also implement and show actually how things work. And the client meetings shouldn't be anymore just or we're
Yeah.
discussing like what we want to do, and then I pass it to the team. No, it always should start with a demo. Like, where are we? What do we have? Okay, what doesn't work? Do. Let's do it. And next week we have
Hmm.
another meeting, another demo.
Correct. This is great. Marcin, what I have, I mean, talking to many CIOs and maybe the business leaders, and in fact, the people who are the functional leader, I mean, there are two lenses where I want to bring into the perspective is they struggle to kickstart their journey. I mean, they say, where is the business use case that can bring the true impact into the organization? So, would you like to share some kind of steps or maybe some guideline in order to identify a right agentic business use case?
Of course, I'm happy to do it. But look, in terms of identifying the areas for improvement, AI and agentic AI is only like a new tool that you have. Because if you have AI and agentic AI, it doesn't mean that this is the only technology you should be
Correct.
using.
Correct.
Because in fact, you will still be using a lot of traditional, system integration, automation, type of
Yeah.
technology, definitely, and only use, agentic and AI, like, first AI as a part of the process, and then agentic AI once you kind of, have an idea of, how to build autonomous systems. And, there are different levels of autonomous systems. So you need to actually go through all those levels to get to
Yeah.
fully autonomous systems. So look, I would say you don't change the way you pick up the areas for improvements, because the easiest way when we do a big innovation projects, with automation and AI, we actually go to like various different business units, and we ask them, give us a list where you think you can like save the most time, or what are like, again, repetitive tasks that spend, boring stuff that you feel like you're doing it all the time, the same way, etc. You tell us, and then try to estimate, like, like, what is the cost to the business when you do it, right? And so that way you basically, still collect a list of, all the issues within the business and different business units, and you're able to, define which are the top priorities for you. And what's only changing is that, in the past you were able to like pick up, or system integrations, if you have nothing, then RPA, but
Yeah.
you would be able to like pick some technology, and now you just have additional tool, or even a service, I would call it, right, as an AI, to help you with that, which just look, accelerates everything, and again, assists you with making those decisions. Sometimes, it can even make a decision for you.
Yeah.
So look, selection process is not the same. But if you ask me, look, we still see, like I said before, this bank statement reconciliation,
Mhm.
okay, happens with every client. Okay,
Mhm.
happens
Oh,
with, yeah,
it's a classic, it's a classic example. Little bit I would like to touch upon the human agent collaboration, human in loop. So right, automation journey is moving towards the autonomous.
yes,
So my question, and where I want to understand your insight, I mean, humans still play a very critical role. So how do you see, I mean, in real example, how the agent and the human collaboration looks like? Would you like to quote one example for audience to understand, and how the organization or the leaders should design to make sure it trustworthy, safe security, and it's safe?
correct, correct. Okay, so happy to share it. And look, the people are in a loop, and and they will be always a part of the organization. But the biggest reason why people are in a loop is because today a lot of people don't put enough trust to automation and AI to let it go on its own. Because it's a journey within the businesses. We work in IT, so maybe it's easier for us to accept because we do everything with AI, everything automation on a daily basis. So you wake up, you probably have all your reports ready, like I do. I've got my KPIs updated. I just look at the areas that, okay, today I need to work on this, and it's very easy. But that's not the reality in a lot of businesses. Especially kind of non-IT driven businesses, right? So to give you an example, we're working now with a large construction business. Okay, and look, they are doing a lot of process automations with AI in their financial department. Okay. First, because financial director says, look, every number, every figure needs to be as exactly as it should be. Da, 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 da. So at the very beginning, this is really for them learning exercise on how their processes should look like, because we do a lot of changes in the processes on the way as well, but also building confidence within the teams that that the results that AI and automation is generating are actually the right ones, because look, to give you an example, specific, and I cannot mention like the client name and a specific process, but look, we had the process where they said, okay, let's do it, let's see what results, instead of people doing manually excels and moving to systems, putting the data. Okay, let's actually create the system, and and the team will only like approve, reject, or amend the data. So we call them exceptions. So throw exceptions, to the client. And at the beginning, they even wanted to see everything. So at the very beginning, we actually had around 50% of acceptance rate done correctly, which means half was not. Okay, and in financial department was like a big issue. What was half of the things you cannot like actually do properly. So this is a lot. But then we actually found out that a lot of those incorrect answers were because they didn't give us all the rules that they wanted to have, because they gave us some rules, but then some exceptions were in people's heads, and people were able to like say, okay, if I see this type of transaction, I know what to do with it. But yes, it wasn't written down. So we were working with the client to like adding more rules, more, right? So context for AI, which then started to like increase. And again, now I think we're on like 95%, okay, of like fully automated, correct decisions, including actually validation. If the correct decision is actually correct. Using a different process and so on. So this is the human in a loop issue is really very often needed at the beginning, because you will change the processes. You really need to start describing the processes, how they actually are, give all the rules, exceptions, etc. So describing it actually, takes time. Okay. The change will always be there, because look, the new regulations are coming, you need to add more to the process. So, they always be there. But actually what is going to happen is, in some shared services teams in finance departments, we have like 10 people working on like approvals for, a specific type of a process. It will definitely reduce to 1 or 2, because, really a lot will happen in an autonomous way. But two things will happen. One, the clients will improve their processes, and they will actually describe them properly, and and have the proper documentation, etc. And two, they will start trusting AI, because at the beginning they just don't trust. In some, especially in some departments like finance, there's still a lot of maybe not reject, but wrote a lot of questions, on what, how is it gonna work? Because because some departments are very traditional, and they don't want to change, and once they actually see, oh, these things are actually working, so now I can still keep the same team, I can ask my team to do things that before they didn't have time to do. So I will actually improve how we work, right? But that level of understanding and confidence on the client side, it takes time as well.
Yeah, this is great example of how the machine and agent, machine and human can work together. Thank you very much. My last question, and it's a sensitive question. So now there is a lot of layoffs happening across the industry on the name of restructuring, cultural problem, or maybe the AI problem. But from your perspective, I mean, how agentic AI, or in fact, how the overall AI landscape is reshaping the job landscape, and what are the new roles that will evolve in next 3 to 5 years, where people should make themselves ready?
Correct. So yes, a lot of things are happening, and again, probably we actually see it first because they're happening a lot in technology, right? Because again, because AI is progressing in technology in the fastest way. So my son is studying IT at the moment, okay, and I'm thinking like, how can he even become a junior developer? Well, there's not going to be a junior developer job anymore because like AI today is much better than junior developer. So how you actually become senior developer then if you cannot be a junior developer,
Yeah.
right? So and there's real examples, right? But look, one thing that everybody needs to learn is definitely technology. Like everybody will have to learn technology. I think everybody has to understand that again, there's not going to be jobs that will just take one tiny part of the process. You will be expected to understand the whole process and be part of the whole process and use AI, on the different stages of the process and execute, but deliver it and be responsible for a complete process. So that's one. Learning becomes like super important because I believe everybody has to learn something new every day. Okay, I'm saying that for many years. My mantra is if I don't learn something like in a day, then that means like I feel I'm dead. Like everybody needs to have that, and this is really a mentality, a change in you that you just need to accept. I'm not just going to a job like I'm going to a job every day is the same job. No, you actually go and think, okay, what can I learn today? What can I learn today? And it's like I also say, what will you automate today? What will you automate? Every day little bits by bits, but overall, this is a big change that happens. Last but not least, look, yes, a lot of people struggle and lose jobs and so on. But at the same time, this is the time of the biggest opportunity on the market. So if you have an idea of how can you solve, even a small issue, problem that exists in the market, now you can become a business owner, okay, like this immediately, okay, and you can yeah, you can create very sizable businesses. We even up to, I don't know, 1 million ARR, much more than you would be thinking of getting salary for. But you can actually create those micro businesses, and you can go and like run them, and they can happen within month 2 up to 3 months. Like you should be able to actually build 1, 2 people micro businesses that really can scale revenues to 1 million within a year or two.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This is great listening you, Marcin. So I'm just concluding now. So this was such an insightful discussion with Marcin, where we learn and explore how agentic AI will take us from automation to autonomy. And especially, I like the way, Marcin, you frame that every day in this fast evolving world, if I'm not learning each day, then I'm dead. So another aspect, job is not the only option in the fast evolving AI world. There are a lot of opportunity where we can build a big business, micro business, where we can have an ARR of $1 million. So this is really interesting insights. Thank you very much for joining us today. And ladies and gentlemen, Marcin is available on the LinkedIn. He's a great leader. He's a speaker. He has built up a great business. You can approach him on the LinkedIn. He's quite approachable. Depends on his availability. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining the Tech Storytelling with Madan. Thank you.